Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Moviecast, episode 687. I'm one of your host, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinside,
Yo, yo.
and Tony Korkanakis.
Hey.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, to 687 of the Moviecast. Yeah, guys. We are coming up to Dune, Corey. Coming up to Dune.
3 more days.
Finally, right? It's Dune
It's only
week,
been
finally.
3 years, so my most anticipated.
It's exciting. I'm like, and I'm anticipating it, and I'm trying not to overhype it in my head. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to read like a headline, obviously, that like this may be like the greatest villain since like Heath Ledger portrayed the Joker, and I'm just like, why'd I read that headline? Yeah.
Well, now why are you telling us this?
That's some clickbait shit.
Yeah, I didn't read the article.
I think there have been villains on that level since then, anyway. So
yeah, I mean, I know, but they're putting it on the echelon of it, and I'm just like, that's cool. I mean, I just want to get myself hyped. I didn't read the article at all, so I just, I don't want any spoilers. I just want to get into this thing. So yeah, guys. But we haven't seen that yet. Corey and I haven't gone yet. We're going Friday. It's gonna be fun. Friday night. You gonna get the popcorn?
No. I don't need that asshole in my life.
Oh, the popcorn bucket. Anyways, so yeah, I just get into what we actually watched though. So, anybody watched Avatar? Not James Cameron's Avatar, The Last Airbender?
Yep.
Haven't? Okay. Did you watch the whole thing yet, Tony?
No, I'm halfway through.
I just finished episode 3. Literally just finished episode 3. So, this has been, it's been getting pretty good reviews. Critic-wise, not. I've been seeing a lot of like IGN posted like why it's like a terrible remake, and I'm just like, I posted a couple articles and I hadn't watched it yet, but I don't think I have much to say about this like gripe-wise, except for maybe it like what does it do like new? You know what I'm saying? Like I guess like that's about it. Like what is it bringing to the table? But I'm not offended that the thing exists. I think it's fun. It looks fine. Looks good. Looks good, right?
I mean, I don't understand. So first of all, I'm not.
Is he Ong or is he Aang?
He's Aang.
He's Aang.
He's Aang.
It's called
That's what baffles me is because some of the reviews I have seen or the opinions even online are just saying it's another disappointment in M. Night Shyamalan. I'm like, are you fucking dumb? Like, I honestly want to insult people and think that. I'm sorry if any of the listeners have that opinion, but like, I'm just like, I don't know if you were there when M. Night Shyamalan's movie came out, because I went and saw that day one, because I'm such a huge Avatar: The Last Airbender fanboy, and that completely that has to be one of the most disappointing experiences of my life, right? Like I don't think there's any really redeeming feature about that movie. Like maybe one or two of the actors' performances that I forgot that movie. Like that is one thing I'm thankful for, where it's just like I forgot most of it. But anything that had to do with like the lore, the characters, like anything, it was just awful. So this, I think it's a little rocky or rough around the edges in some parts, but the core of what makes Avatar Avatar, I think is there, right? Like Aang, I think is wonderful. I think the actor they got to portray him does a great job, especially being so young, right? I mean, it's one thing when you're doing an animation and having a voice actor that just has to, punch down or, go
sound a certain way.
Go up in the decibels, right? Because you can hide that. When you're talking like, hey, we need somebody that's like 10 to 12-ish that can do all this stuff. Like, that's a tall ask, especially with choreography for like fights and stuff like that. Because, I mean, what 10 to 12-year-old actor is going to have those chops, right? So I think Aang, God, fucking M. Night Shyamalan, just fuck.
It's not even like they this misheard thing. It's like or like misinterpreted the text, right? It's not like that. You hear it. You hear what the guy's name is it's in a Nickelodeon cartoon.
Yeah, they have fucking 3 seasons of it and stuff like that.
Didn't Venom do this too? Symbiote.
Yeah,
I mean, this has happened.
It's stupid, but I just don't think people who are comparing it to the same level of Shyamalan's Avatar, I just don't think, or The Last Airbender, you don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea how good this is by comparison.
I saw, but the thing that pisses me off is like the posts that we're seeing about the critics is like it doesn't focus on what was great about the cartoon, which is the main characters, and I'm just like it's all about the war, and I'm like watching 3 episodes in now, and I'm like they have plenty of character development about these characters and their history. Like it's not as much as the cartoon, don't get me wrong, because they don't have much time to do that, but it's you get the essence of the characters while they're doing these battles, and I don't think it forgets them at all. Like that, I'm not getting that vibe. You know what I mean? That's what I was reading. People are seeing as they're getting forgotten. And I'm just like, this is. I
don't get that.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
And I thought something was weird a couple weeks in, like before it debuted, was the, obviously people were giving interviews, for the pre-roll and stuff like that. But, one of the, I think, writers or somebody on the show had said like, we removed Sokka's sexism, right?
Yeah.
Because, we're 2024. That show was like what 2000 something, whatever. 20ish years is like some of that stuff probably has aged poorly. But then people were mad about it. I'm just like, you're mad that they're removing a sexist part of a character that just doesn't age. And it's not like there was no way to replace it, right? Because the whole thing was Sokka kind of undermines his sister Katara in it, and he still does that, but he does it in a way that's not just like, well, you can't do that because you're a girl. It is just like, why would you cheer to like have that included still? Like, I just boggles my mind. Is baffling.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, and by the way, guys, we are live on Twitch. I forgot to open up with that one. And thank you for joining us, viewers. We have a couple of comments in here about this. Churro, thanks for joining. Is it Tailfei? I hope so. Thanks for joining as well. Yeah, his sexism from the cartoon is his original development, I guess, sort of. But times change, and like I feel like what they're doing in the show for his development works pretty well. Like you don't have to follow that older style of I mean, I understand you want to keep it faithful to the adaptation, but again, I just talked about how I feel like why does it exist if you're not going to bring anything new to the table, right? You want to do something new.
See,
and that's what I'm saying.
So I appreciate people chiming in. I would disagree respectfully with that though, because there's an episode where they go to Kyoshi Island, which is in the original, right? And Sokka thinks he's big macho, leader of the Southern Water Tribe and stuff like that, and he's a warrior, and he gets owned by Zuko in the first episode, true to the the original material and stuff like that, and he starts to doubt himself. And same thing with Suki, right? Who's like the leader of the Kyoshi warriors and stuff like that. So when they sparred and he was trying to show off and stuff like that, he's like, "Oh, look, I can throw my boomerang." He doesn't call it boomerang in this, right? Yeah. Hopefully they get there. And he takes out like one of the melons, right? And she, puts out her fan, throws it, and slices off like all the other melons, right? And he's like, "Well, I'm more, about hand-to-hand combat." So then she's like, "Yeah, okay, let's spar." And, spoiler alert, she wins that spar, and he kind of gets this look on his face and just kind of storms off, right? So, like, you can say that, I mean, that is sexist, but do you really need him to be like, how could I lose to a girl? Like, I would personally get nothing from that myself.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So, I mean, it's so far so good for me. 3 episodes in. I also checked out Shogun. So I got to see that. Yeah, it is out. It's on Hulu. They're calling it an original. It is a long episode. The first episode's an hour and 10 minutes. So it's a pretty good episode. Pretty good start to the series. It definitely, I could see the Game of Thrones comments. It's got that a lot of houses vibe kind of thing. It's got like that, playing for the throne kind of thing. So I could see it happening. The comparisons are going to naturally be there for something, it's feudal Japan, samurai, with the west, I guess the western settlers coming over, stuff like that. So it's ships arriving from Portugal's already there, but like England, stuff like that. So it's a very, very good episode. The first episode, it's subtitled like crazy. Obviously, they don't cut that, so you're gonna have to watch a subtitled show if you want to watch this. So it's I really like the first episode a lot. I've been hyping this up from what I looked at from it before, so I'm hoping it really delivers this season. And early reviews are saying it's very good. So the whole season. So, we'll see. But that's it for me.
I'm excited. I'm interested in that. So we'll see about this. What's it on? FX? Or...
It's on FX. It's on Hulu.
Hulu? Might have to go to the high seas for that one.
Yeah. So that's it for me though. Tony, anything else for you?
No.
Okay. Corey?
You're enough for gaming.
Yeah.
No, I'm mostly been watching anime. Still, like,
cool.
Following the ones like Solo Leveling. I actually didn't get an episode released this week. But the Ninja Kamui is really good still. Episode 3 was out.
Nice.
Definitely would recommend if you like hyper violence and super futuristic.
It's not an isekai though, right?
No.
Okay,
no,
thank God.
It's not.
Because
it is John Wick, but as a ninja.
No, that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. It's just so I've been talking about the 2 high fantasy shows I've been watching, which is Freeren's Journey or and
Beyond Journey.
Beyond
whatever.
Beyond Journey's End or whatever like that, and Delicious in Dungeon. And because of these 2 shows being so good, and that you don't need a gimmick where like the character is like from another world, and that explains why his power and abilities or whatever. Like I'm just taking an anti-isekai stance. I'm boycotting isekais from now on.
Oh, there you go. That's fair. The other thing actually I went back to is Kenshin, because the remake or whatever. I never watched the new version of it, and so I've been going through that also, because that's like one of my favorite animes of all time.
I mean, it's hard, and maybe this isn't the best place to talk about it, because Kenshin the anime and the manga is great, but the guy who made it is really...
No, he's not a good guy. Definitely,
he's a bad guy. Like, he's not even like you could make an argument. He's a bad person. So personally, it's hard for me to separate.
It. No, I got
artist, right? Like, there's some things where I'm just like, I can't do that. Like, if it's like, okay, that's not so bad. But when we're talking about what he did, I'm not even going to mention this. It's going to bring the podcast down mood.
No, definitely. But just mostly anime this week.
Okay.
Getting ready for Dune.
Yeah. Mike, anything? Nothing.
Nope.
Right.
I gotta get Netflix because I have not been able to watch Avatar, so that's the next thing.
We can work on
that. Netflix is reportedly going to be raising the prices again this year. Big shock, right?
Nah,
is that part of the news?
It sort of is.
I did post. Maybe I didn't post it, but yeah.
I mean, they say it's worth, like you were saying, I saw that on Discord.
Yeah. I mean, the CEO did say even last year, I think it was the CEO, I could be wrong. They think Netflix should be valued appropriately at $30 a month, and they're just going to slowly raise until they get to that price range. So.
They'll get there probably. I can see it. What's it, 23 right now? So it goes to 25 this year.
That's if you get like the full.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'm
not on that. I'm on the 18 or whatever it is.
I have this. I'm doing the $7 ad one, so that's just easier for me.
That's a value. If you're just doing the $8 a month for the Netflix original content, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually very happy.
I said every other streaming service. Like, it's not even
I told you guys, like, the ads that are involved in the shows, they're 20 seconds. There's usually 3 of them in a show. It's for $6.95 a month. It's a great value. It's a great value. And I complain about their pricing, but I will say that there's your value, and they want you there. That's what they want. They want the ads because they get more money that way. So they're priced out perfectly for it. And I know that's going to go up in price too. But like, it's a no-brainer month-to-month subscription for me now. Like, we were talking about how I wouldn't go month-to-month with Netflix anymore. But now it's just like, I'll leave it on and pay it, and I'll catch an episode here and there and things, and it's worth it. But yeah. All right. What else we got here? We got nothing really in the box office this week. Oh, yeah, wait. Demon Slayer had the Kimetsu. That came out. That was
what?
Right. That's debuted, right? Yeah, week one. Sony Pictures.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, 11.5 million. Number 2 in the box office this week.
Re-released it in theaters. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
they re-released it. Yeah, to the. I guess they did. It's Sony Pictures.
Well,
Sony
this
Pictures
is what I said
like
last year. We're going to see this year all these movies coming. Like, Disney has released all the Pixar movies back in theaters. And stuff like
that came out at the end of COVID, didn't it? Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
Was it 2021?
29. Yeah, that's the first movie we went back to see.
Yeah. So it had to be, yeah. I guess that's what they're doing. They're re-releasing a lot of it. So, but hey, it debuted at number 2 for a movie that was re-released. That's impressive. Mm. Madam Web had a 61% drop off at 6 million. Not a good showing for that. That is getting bombed. It's going to be nowhere next week, obviously, with Dune. But yeah. All right, let's move into news, guys. We got a lot of Gamecast talk to get into shortly, but let's see. Warner Brothers Discoveries halts its merger talks with Paramount. I think we talked about this last week. Mergers. So that's not happening. Yeah, I mean, they're both doing really poorly. So they're going to either get bought or they're going to merge with somebody. It may not be these two together, but they're going to separately get. I just see them somebody else acquiring them.
So peanut butter and jelly is like something like where you take two things that are good and you just put them together, and it becomes even better. Like, what's the opposite of that? When you take two bad things and you put them together and they're just worse. Is there a?
Yeah, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of what that is.
Salt in a wound.
Yeah, salt in a wound. Yeah. Peanut butter and pickles.
No, there would definitely be people that would actually be into that. And if
no
you are, that's
way.
fine. Whatever you eat, that's your personal decision there.
Oh man.
No.
All right. But we'll see what's going on with that. Let's see. Gladiator 2's budget. Man, these movie budgets. Gladiator 2's budget is reportedly $310 million.
Crazy.
There's no way
that
is
is
profitable.
But so initially the budget was 165, which by the way, initially that's high. That's a lot of money for a movie that how long ago? It's a sequel to a movie that
Dune like 2 is 185, something like that.
Sure. But you're dealing from a sequel based on a movie that was more recent. Gladiator.
No, I'm talking about like how Dune 2 is a huge movie. It's gigantic, and it's only 185.
Oh,
like, what is Gladiator doing that needs this much money?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably
that's my point. It's like, what are we doing here? I don't know.
Well, the budget ballooned after COVID, apparently. Oh, the strike. The strike is what caused this budget to balloon. So it's on them.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies that had to deal with the strike. This isn't the only one. So
yeah. Let's see. Oh, we got the Borderlands trailer. We talked about it last week. We had the teaser last week. We got the official trailer this week. Corey, you're not in line. You're not in line yet. You're here. You're still on the podcast.
Yeah. I don't know. It's way too colorful for me. Actually, I'm surprised because
I didn't like.
I thought they would go more with the grittier look, but I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing. But I think there's some really cool stories in the Borderlands that have that are heavy in a way, but also there's comedy and there's fun things that are fun. Like, not to say it's like Ted Lasso or anything, but Ted Lasso deals with heavy themes, but makes everything positive and uplifting. And Borderlands has some heavy themes in their stories, but then there's jokes that are make it a little more palatable, right? Here it's just bad jokes. I didn't see anything in this that made me feel like there's a story that was going to be interesting that I was excited for. I wanted to maybe see more what made Borderlands cool with guns. Let me get more guns. The whole video game trailer, they're
billions of guns.
Let me see as many guns as possible. Where are all the guns in this? And so
I don't understand.
Very.
I feel like
I'm surprised you guys don't like it because I'm surprised you don't like it. You guys like everything James Gunn does, and this is clearly one of his a style of James Gunn type of movie, even though it makes no sense.
The problem is that maybe they're trying to do a James Gunn feel here, but it's
a DC logo on it. You don't like it.
To me, doesn't fit the movie. The music doesn't fit the Borderlands games, in my opinion, and it's just the actors, man. It's just really you want to make a cinematic universe, and you're gonna get these actors, and Jack Black initially, I was like, oh, I'm super excited. Jack Black is gonna be Claptrap, but he sounds too much like Jack Black. He sounds, Jack Black's right. It's just they're putting robotic reverb on it or something, and it's
And
I feel like this movie is gonna set back video game movies a long time again.
I don't know about.
I'm just afraid. I don't think it's gonna be that bad.
I think it's just gonna be.
It's not what I wanted.
It's gonna be the standard, and it's just gonna be forgettable, and they're gonna lose money on it.
Yeah, but I mean,
we're all gonna move on. We're all gonna move on.
Gaming movies have been on a run,
right? But I mean,
gonna
Borderlands would have to be offensively bad to the point where I can't.
It needs to be on the Madam Web level.
Right.
It's
so
not that.
The thing I will say is, like, Corey, I know you brought this up over the past couple of years, and I've kind of just taken like a devil's advocate thing, but like finally seeing this trailer now, I really do not like. In my mind, I was like, well, maybe the character she's playing, what's her name?
Kate Blanchett, Lilith.
I was like, well, maybe it's an older Lilith. Like, that's the only thing I could think of. But like seeing that trailer, I'm like, it's not. So like, what? Why did you specifically choose her to do this in a role that's like so specifically outside of her range? And again, I think Kate Blanchett is gorgeous, especially for her age. But like, when you have a character that's supposed to be 20 and you get a 50-something-year-old actress to portray that character,
you're doubling her age, right?
Over-doubling. And it's just so confusing. And then it's like, she's supposed to be with Roland, right?
Roland, yeah.
And it's fucking Kevin Hart. And it's like, what are we doing here, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
No. It's like...
You look at Roland, you look at Kevin Hart, and it's like, these two could not be further away.
Well, we said that when they casted him. When they cast him, it was not right.
Yeah.
So... But what's your opinion about Hot Rod, Corey?
Oh, is it Hot Rod? I don't know. Like they had like Randy Pitchford did like a little commentary on the trailer, and he's like talks about, oh, this is so cool, I'm so excited, and Kate Blanchett kills it, and Kevin Hart kills it, and like, oh, you might recognize these things, but who knows what they really are. It's like, okay, like I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, welcome to the chat, by the way. First time chat.
Yeah. Oh, welcome.
Snowman and Tilfay. Welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, guys.
Yeah, I'm just because I'm a huge Borderlands fan. If you guys have ever
You're the number one.
Whenever
before, I hear somebody else talk about, I'm a huge Borderlands fan, I'm like, okay. But if I ever hear somebody say, I'm the number one Borderlands fan, I'm like, hold up a minute.
Yeah, I got someone for you. So I was so excited for this, and like I am still excited to see the movie. I just don't think it's gonna push this forward at all. I don't see how they're gonna build a franchise around a cinematic universe with the actors that they've casted and the story that they're telling here.
Like, do we even know what the story, like, because it just seems like a mishmash of the first three. Like,
I mean, you have, right? You kind of have to look for it. It's like, from my understanding, it's Atlas, which is one of the gun manufacturers. The president of Atlas hires Lilith to find his daughter or something like that. And then they have Tiny Tina thrown in here, which is, I think they're changing her character a little bit to fit characters. And I mentioned it last week. Like, you're putting characters in here because they're fan favorites and not characters that are going to make the story better.
Right.
And that's what I'm thinking is.
I don't know. I mean, to my recollection, and I didn't play Borderlands 1 all that much, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt, my memory is like Borderlands 1, like, it had a story, sure, but it wasn't really like that big of a deal. It was mostly, okay, here's a co-op shooter or whatever. But it was 2 with Handsome Jack that they really upped the story aspect of it. So to me, again, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but it just feels like if you really wanted to nail Borderlands, the movie, out of the park, like, just adapt the Handsome Jack, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the best villains. It's one of the best villains created. Like, Handsome Jack.
Only go downhill from there, maybe.
Yeah.
That's why
yeah, but if this fails, do you get a second one? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. But especially how long this is taking to come out. So. All right. Moving on. Last bit of news we've got is the news about the Continental, right? That's the hotel. Yeah, the Continental spinoff of John Wick.
It's not really like news. It was just something interesting. I know we're all.
I thought it was interesting. So Ian McShane slams the Continental as a John Wick cash grab. He and Keanu Reeves were not consulted about it. Which I've been seeing previews for this, and I was getting pretty hyped to watch it, but it kind of knocks me down a little bit that they weren't even like. I mean, obviously they're not like writers for the show, but they were involved in the movies like crazy, especially the Continental. Like
and it's his character. It's supposed to be his character younger,
so I figured he would get consulted at least a little bit. But it I guess doesn't kill it for me, but it does knock down the optimism I had, the hype I had for it myself a little bit. So we'll see. Hopefully it's good. But
I can understand, like, you feel like you have ownership over something because of how much you've been involved in it, but at the same time, you don't have any ownership of it.
No, you don't.
Like,
You're right.
The people that the creatives here are making a show and making something that that they think is going to be good and that is going to make money off of, and the fans want. The fans like obviously they are excited for expansion of this universe, and
absolutely.
Obviously, you got all these areas to explore. So why?
If the show's great, the show is great, and then he's like, hey man, maybe we didn't really need your consultancy. But if the movie or the series is shit, and you got something to stand on, it's like, okay, maybe you should have been a consultant. I don't know.
And you're gonna get another spin-off with the ballerina. So.
And I think doesn't Keanu have some kind of creative thing with it now? Ever since
I thought he did at this point. I thought he did it on John Wick 4. That's how he did the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
but,
maybe that was it.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it's good. So, all right. That's it for the news this week on the Moviecast. Though we have a Gamecast coming up. Sony layoffs to talk about. Nintendo Direct. We got a lot of news on the Gamecast. Thanks for tuning into the live stream. If you're on, we appreciate it, guys. Stay tuned for the Gamecast coming up. All of our content's also over on YouTube. Subscribe so that way you get notified to both channels. That way you get notified when we go live. We will see you on the Gamecast next. We are out for now. We'll be right back.